Autobots, transform, and let's roll! Hold up, I have the flat. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Hello and welcome back, Transformer TCG friends. Okay, we have a character to reveal. But, at least let's first go over Jhiaxus, his alt side, because once you see what we're talking about here, this may be the only thing this video is about. I'm just taking a small break from work. A very small break, so we'll see how this goes. So, Jhiaxus, or Jhiaxus, I don't know, whatever. He's an 11-star non-factioned leader spaceship character. Okay, when you flip him to his alt mode, do 1 damage to an enemy character. Simple enough. Of course, he's a non-faction character, though a non-faction is still a faction. Okay, as far as the game is concerned. He's just got a new symbol, and the framing is black because it's in the custom mode. And I didn't change the coloring or anything. I just kept it black, which seems to fit. And this is only the two characters. This one and the G2 Autobot Mirage. That's it. And since I'm not pulling down the thing right now. I'll just have the cards show up behind me. So on post edit now or whatever. So if it has the matrix equipped, do 1 more damage. So when you flip him to alt mode, you're going to be able to have the chance to not just get one damage, 1 little measly non-attack damage on somebody. You're going to be able to do 2 if he has a matrix. Well, a matrix. We have a problem here. He is neither Autobot.
He is neither Autobot or Decepticon.
Okay, I can't do tarantulas very well. But, so we have a problem. Because Buddy's Dark Matrix is put on Decepticons only. The original Matrix of Leadership is put on Autobots only. My Tainted Matrix is also put on Decepticons only. But remember, ATP and the ARC, those guys came up with a Sharkticon Matrix. It can go on anybody. There's a Matrix. And now we have another one that I've created called Alternative Matrix. But before we get into that, Jhiaxus is one character. Let's reveal, is it this perfect time to reveal Skullgrin? And Skullgrin in his alt mode, it is the image off the box. I tried smoothing out the coloring a little bit. Oh well. It's still Skullgrin. It doesn't look bad, but anyway, let's keep going. He's a dual factioned character. You're going to notice that right off. Boom, split, purple and black. Or that it's actually not black, it's like a very dark gray. But maybe it is supposed to be black, which is mercenary. So anyway, he's a Vain Warrior. He's an 8-star character. His stats are kind of wonky, but I think they're okay for an 8-star. He's a leader, he's a spaceship, and he's ranged in his alt mode. An attack of 2, health of 11, defense of 3, because he's a spaceship. Nice defense, low attack in the alt mode. When you flip to this mode, you may do one of the following. When you started with an Autobot on your team, you may scrap 2 cards off the top of your deck and play an action scrapped this way. That's not bad. That's unusual. To be able to pull off another action. And see, I think we're to the point, because there's so much homemade stuff out there. ATP's extended waves, I think their last wave was wave 9. The ARC's 1.5-ish kind of wave that they just released this past late summer and fall. all the crap that I've done. If you were in casual gaming, I think it's time to go, okay, the minimum of 40 is nice, but maybe I need to add some more to my deck. I don't know if I would go 60 like Pokemon or something like that, but more maybe 50 might be a decent sized deck for what you're trying to do. Like maybe adding, try to keep your white pips low, still maybe 10 instead of 9. Just add one more white pip. Add some rolling actions. Get in there some. Oh gosh, there's rolling actions and what else have they made? Plot actions, rolling actions. I've come up maybe I only did 4 or maybe 5, and it's secret action hybrid. And I'm beginning to wonder if I need to put the hybrid on the front. Hybrid secret action. That makes more sense. And that's not a bad idea. I got some good comments and critiques about that on Facebook, the custom page, with that new type of little card, and throw some base cards in there, and if you do a deck of 50, you can still keep your core 40, but then you're going to have 10 more, maybe one more white pip card. Maybe, I don't know, 5 to 7 base cards, if you will. Maybe throw in an extra plot action or rolling action or something like that, or secret action or something else to, really pad out your deck. I mean, you only have to be a minimum of 40. You can go any more than that. And I'll shut up about that. But, so in Skullgrin here, is begging you to play with more factions, multiple factions on your team. Okay? If you started with an Autobot on your team, you can do this. When you started with a Decepticon on your team, repair a character you control. Okay? So Skullgrin is a nice 8-star character that would go great in a 3-wide team with one Autobot and a Decepticon and Skullgrin, who happens to be mercenary and Decepticon. With casual gaming, doing a figure like this might be problematic. Okay, let's flip him over. Let's shut up for a second. And flip him over. He turns from range to melee. Now he has the beast trait, so he's a leader, beast, and melee. His attack goes up to 5. His defense comes down to 1. He has Pierce 1. Pretty simple, right? When you flip to this mode, you don't see that very often, flipping to bot mode, while this is wearing a Matrix type upgrade. Now all right, see? A character you control has Pierce 2 for battle. You know what's going to be really good with this guy? Since he's a Decepticon, Buddy's Dark Matrix, which is going to be able to give Pierce 2 to other characters when it's on. Who? A leader. Skullgrin's a leader. He don't need no floating throne. Okay? Which in turn, if he's got a matrix type, the Dark Matrix fits that parameter. The Dark Matrix is going to give your other characters Pierce 2. Flipping him to bot mode, wearing it, is going to give them now Pierce 4. Buddy, you're welcome. All right, so I don't know if he watches me much anymore. Last I knew, he was really going onto the Dragon Ball route, and I rarely see. I actually saw some Dragon Ball cards not too long ago, and I'm like, wow, I haven't seen any new Dragon Ball stuff in months in a Walmart, because I don't get to go to the card store anymore. But okay, so with that in mind, we have an alternative matrix. In this matrix is a utility. It is a rare pip card, even though it's got a couple of things going for it. It's reminiscent of the Matrix of Leadership, but you don't have a stipulation for putting on any kind of faction. Okay, this can get like the Sharkticon Matrix, which I believe, if I remember correctly, the Sharkticon Matrix, and I'll put it up here, can go on anybody, but it has just about the same ability as the Matrix of Leadership. So it's going to give your other characters, I believe, attack and pierce 1. If I'm remembering correctly. I haven't printed one out. Maybe I have printed one out. Gosh, I got to play around with the game again. It's been too long. So this alternative Matrix is going to be able to go on Skullgrin or Jhiaxus. And this is an image from Cyberverse Season 3 or Season 4 when the Megatron, who is pretending to be on a truce with the big huge fence going down the barrier on Cybertron, which I found pretty funny. And he goes to another universe, and they're all wondering where did he go? And he goes to another universe and gets this Matrix. It gets dropped, and he sees it, and he picks it back up and comes back to normal reality, or the normal universe, for Cyberverse, that is. So this utility is not an orange and blue pip. It's a hybrid orange-blue. So you get to call it. But still, either way, it might as well be both pips. But it's not. It's a hybrid pip. It's a utility that's going to give anybody wearing it +2 health. So if you have an opponent using this and they're tied, their lifeline is tied to the Matrix, boom, vaporized, boom, they're KO'd, okay? So while this is on a leader, each of your other characters has +1 to attack or +1 defense for battle, okay? So it's not too dissimilar from the official Matrix of Leadership, but it's not giving pierce. It's actually giving attack and defense to the other characters, not the character wearing it. They're only going to get 2 health, which isn't bad. I had it as 1, and I'm like, boy, this seems really weak for a rare card. So let me bump it up to 2. And there we go. And it's got the hybrid pip color going for it too. And let's look at one more while I'm kind of stopped here. And then I got to quit, get back to work. Cross-faction high five. So in the game itself, for the first 5 waves, and a lot of us were noticing, especially powered by Primus. What happened to him, by the way? Haven't seen him, his tattooed self in a long time. I hope he's doing okay. I miss watching his games and hearing his commentary and going, but sometimes revealing a new card, when the game was new. But cross-faction high five, where was I going with that? What I was going with that is that I was noticing after about wave 3, it seemed obvious that Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast was like, okay, they had been a tournament or two, and some stuff going on, and the Hasbro representatives or Wizard representatives were there and apparently watching games. I was not there. Great, another plane. I'm sorry. And they were like, whoa, people are making their decks like this? Wow, like that? Wow, okay. Orange and a lot of pierce, or blue and a lot of pierce, or blue-black decks, black-orange decks, etc., etc. And then they started being obvious that by wave 4 and 5, they were really pushing players to mix their decks. Okay, please make us toss salad from now on, kind of. I mean, not really, but that's what it felt like. Now, with mine, if you noticed from Skullgrin and his abilities, that and this cross-faction high five, what am I trying to do? Getting you to have some incentives of playing mixed faction teams. Okay, we got cards like Swindled and Diagnosis or Diagnostic or whatever, to where when you play this action card, if you're all Autobots, you get a perk. You're playing all Decepticons, you get a perk. Okay, this is a little different. Choose two of your characters. If they do not share a trait, and faction repair 1 damage from each of them. So it's, and then I got the silly little reminders. If anybody needed a reminder, factions appear on the bottom right corner of the card. Period. Okay, so it is an uncommon for what this is, and I was really following the opposite side of a high five. Which high five, if 2 characters have at least a trait identical to them, you can repair 1 on each. So this is a little bit of the opposite. Not only do they can't share a trait, they can't share a faction. So if you have, I don't know, a Decepticon car with a melee trait and an Autobot car with a melee trait, well, if one of them is ranged on bot mode, flip them to bot mode. Now, not only are they 2 different factions, hopefully they don't have any traits related either. Play cross action high five. It's just like a high five. But this is a hybrid pip card. As a result, it is white, half green. So you can get this on the flip. But you have to call it green. You're probably going to want to call it white. It can be considered one of your white pip cards. But I thought that was a neat perk of doing this and having that option when you're playing not just 2 different factions on your team, but really giving you a reason, just like Wizards originally was trying to do, giving you a reason to transform, flip your cards, flip the characters every turn. That's what I felt how the original instructions read. You know, flip a character when you can. When you can. If you can't, well, you can't. But if you can, I flip. I would even flip if it hurt me. And I would try to okay, I got to flip somebody. Who am I going to flip? What's going to be best to my advantage? And if it wasn't to my advantage, I still got to flip. I'll flip somebody. And it was part of that, even when I was playing with Buddy, it still hurt me. I lost some games. But at the same time, he didn't play that way. And that's fine too. Because to me, if you're not flipping your characters and trying to get the advantage of the triggers of flipping Transformers to transform them from bot to alt to back to bot to alt 1 to alt 2 to bot to alt 2 and back and forth, and flipping and deploying the characters and flipping to get to do the non-damage attacks and flipping to draw the extra card and all these other neat things that is all part of the game. It wouldn't be Transformers without flipping a character every turn. Now, if there's characters you cannot flip, then you can't flip. And I understand. I am all alone. I'm alone. There's no one here beside me, but you gotta have faith. So, but that's really all I have to say about that. But at least we got to glance at Jhiaxus real quick to show his need for a matrix on him to be able to get extra damage. We revealed Skullgrin, which when he's wearing a matrix type upgrade, then that's going to give your other characters Pierce 2, and I would suggest Buddy's Dark Matrix. All right, to be able to pull that off, and as well as helping you to go, hey, play with more factions, a variety of characters, to be able to pull off some newer and interesting things. Yeah, you may not be able to play Swindled. Yeah, you may not be able to play Diagnosis or whatever. But I've got a few cards where I can see the card. I forgot the name. That can change a character, or not change a character, but also make it Decepticon. I've got another one that I've made, or if I haven't made it, I need to remake it. That makes a character also an Autobot. More to come. So maybe some of this stuff has already been tried. I don't know. You know, it seems like always a bit of a gap between hearing from the guys of the Arc or even ATP nowadays. Last I heard, Dan was going on about Marvel Snap. I did one little video about it, and I think I actually did play Dan one night, months and months ago, earlier in the year. But, you know, I kind of got burned out on Marvel Snap, but it's still fun. It's still addicting. But when you're not getting as many new cards and new characters, and it kind of slows down when you really, really get up there. And I need to go back and play it some more, though. Because I've got so many cards with Marvel Snap. Now I'm talking about another game. It's hard to keep up with all the different types and try to, you know, do things in a certain way to get certain, you know, that certain type of control of that game, which is just all on your phone, all online, just really, really fun. I need to get back into that again. But, you know, I'm going between Earth Wars and 3 other little phone games that just has this, you know, demand to be played, and I'm like, I gotta stop some of this stuff. But anyway, that's all we have time for today. We revealed Skullgrin. We looked at alternative matrix to give you another matrix to be able to print out and play with that. If you see if you like that and get that tested. And cross faction high five, which is a different high five with similar results, but with a different way of play for the characters that trigger it. And you're going to be able to also get this on the flip just like a regular high five. With that, we'll see you next time. Throw scraplets at that like button if you haven't already. I don't like that like button either. And with that, thanks for being here. Thanks for coming and checking this out. And as always,
Autobots, flip out, and let's roll for it.